Welcome to a new video. I recently made a video about the minimum focus distance. Sorry, I'm just checking that. Is the light really dropping that much? Hope it doesn't bother you too much. So, I made video about the minimum focus distance. And for me, that is very important. For you, it might be not. So, and yes, of course, if you carry with you all of this, what you see now, you don't have any problem. Actually, one is missing that wide-angle lens, but we don't need to talk about that today. But let's cover now in one video all we can see here. As you might have noticed, I make travel videos, I make nature videos, I have few close-up photos. So I want to reach far or quite far. If you are having a 500mm lens, then yes, that would be very far, but relatively far and relatively close. So that's, and I want to manage with one lens. Is it fast or slow? Not so important. But basically I have those three criteria. And all of you should also think about the same, or then just carry multiple lenses. So, this is what I used. So it's Nikon 105mm macro, although the maximum magnification is 1:2, so it's not full 1:1 real life magnification. Okay, hope it now stops that trying to refocus. And in addition, I have now some kind of the CPL filter, so it is reducing flare and it's reducing that the sky gets very overburn. So and just for protection UV filter. But basically this is just the size of the lens, so it's very compact. Just to compare, it's not much bigger than this 50mm Sigma. It might be a little bit heavier because this is a little bit, let's say, plastic material, and this is pretty much full steel. So also if you carry the camera around your neck for 8 hours, 5 hours, 3 hours, how long you would do it. It also matters, does the lens weigh 1 or let's say 2 pounds or 1 pound or less. So actually we could say that that is the fourth criteria. Size, maximum focus distance, or minimum, and then the, let's say, the length. So this is now 100 millimeter, so the focus length of the lens. But that, so far, that has been the best for me. It could be useful to use something that where the focus length would be a little bit longer. But let's get to that in a moment. So let's talk about this. So if you did see, maybe before going into that, so after getting this actually 3 manual focus lenses, I only use manual focus. So even for that video today, I use the manual focus for all. Of course, I am checking the minimum focus distance, so there wouldn't be any need to use the autofocus. But I can't comment anything else except Nikon, and unfortunately I have tried to make video about that, but it's quite difficult because it's very small in that where you are looking at. So there is an arrow either on left or right, and if the frame is in focus, there is a ball or circle, and that has been good enough for me. So anyway, if that wouldn't work, it means that you are focusing to the wrong item. And yes, to add, I use only the center focus. So I'm focusing to one place, one dot, and it's in the center of the frame. I don't move it. I don't even know how this some kind of matrix focus would even work for manual focus. Probably only applicable for autofocus. But yes, would make video if it would be possible, but it's not easy. Okay, so now to this lens. This was my first, first lens I bought. I had Nikon, is it now D40? I don't even know where that lens is. The camera broke. So some kind of kit lens. Is it now 18 to 55 millimeter maybe? But yes, the first lens I bought, and this has the full 1-to-1 magnification, but the problem is, which you probably couldn't see, I could have taken, let's say, some B-roll images, but the thing is, with the full magnification, probably this would be even too far away. And if you think that you are doing some real macro work, at least for some insects or something like that, do you really think that you can take the picture when the lens is something like 1 inch of the object? So, otherwise pretty okay, of course. The faraway objects are far away because the focus length is half of this. But for general point and shoot lens in, for example, in some cities and things like that, would be pretty good. Specifically if you don't need to take photos of any distant objects. And this is quite light, quite small. The only thing is this, that if you really use it as a macro object, you need to be very, and you don't even, I'm sure you don't, or many of you don't even realize how close you need to be. It's really something like 1 inch. Okay, next lens. So it's, I think that this is some film, maybe a kit lens for some Nikon lens cameras. But it's actually making quite good images. And it's nice that you can use it as a sort of wide lens, and well, 70 is not really tele, but almost. And really making quite good pictures. I was surprised about the picture quality of in the today's previous presentation. But this is also very plasticky, but this has, let's say, 0 macro capabilities, so does not really fit my purpose. For again, unfortunately, I don't have any of those 18 to 55 kit lenses, or even, I think that there are some better versions, but I can't compare the image quality of this to those, but okay lens, just that I'm using this, so get 0 usage for this one. Then my first real manual focus lens. I'm not even, maybe the previous was manual focus as well. But first AI lens. I have made a separate video about what that means. By the way, well, let's not jump around all the time. But AI means you need to do some filing to fit to modern cameras. This is very heavy. It is 135 millimeters focal length, so pretty good. 0 macro capabilities. And what is the worst? this doesn't focus to infinity. So pretty much useless. So very nice construction. This turns like a new one, but something is completely broken. I don't know, should I try to take this apart and fix it at some point, because again, I have zero usage for this. And it's not really that it can't focus to infinity, because I have made one video using this. And what would I say? Where is the number? So okay, this is feet. So here it says 60 feet and then infinity. But I'm not sure, does it even, it barely focus even to 60 feet. So construction, very good, no macro capabilities and doesn't focus to infinity. So nice lens, but let's say can't be used for anything. And my first lens where I had to do the AI conversion. Then this one. So the extension tube, 2x extender, and then 200mm NIKON. So this is surprisingly good lens. Or the combination. So if you have seen that deer video, it's made with this combination. And why this has this teleconverter, again I have made separate video about this, but it's only lens I have where you can use this teleconverter. Not going into details, but... And I have also made with the full this setup some real videos or real photograph videos, let's put it that way. But also this ring turns perfectly and it functions like brand new. I remember I have bought this quite long time ago. It might have been my second lens after that 50mm, and with the tax and everything, it was great. It was something like at least $200. It was crazy expensive. But good that I have some usage for that. So, in a sense, I could use this as a, let's say, my general point and shoot lens, but 200mm in some cases could be too far, and it's very long compared to this one. So, about double. So surprisingly good lens, and it is this, is it now AIS, so didn't have to do any AI conversion. Let's put it on the side. Then one of my quite recent purchase. I bought this for making those real videos. So it's Tamron 90mm. And this is full macro, I mean 1:1 conversion. And yes, I have 3 1:1 macro lenses. So pretty good lens, and most likely I should sell this because I have zero use for this either. Could use as my travel lens, but if you can see, it is quite a lot much bigger. I don't know, is it much heavier, but it's bigger. And I bought it with the intent that, yes, it was sold as that the autofocus doesn't work. But I was thinking that maybe it still works, which you never should be too optimistic. But okay, the price was for, it was about $100. So it was relatively cheap and good lens, just that the focus motor is broken, so it's making some kind of sound, but the autofocus is not working. Which is funny that out of these lenses, only 2 have working autofocus. Probably that ultra-wide 10-20 has working autofocus, but really out of these, how many lenses? 7. Only 2 have working autofocus. Never mind that. So yes, I can't now say how close you need to be to the subject. So, the reason I bought this was that those tripods are, what would I say, about 2 feet. And I mean that if I'm taking video or pictures of the ambassador reels, that the reel is on the floor and the camera is standing on the tripod, there is about 2 feet distance. And I was thinking that the 50mm is too short. I can't make any real, let's call, macro videos. So this was between the 50mm and what I'm going to show next. An okay lens, and I think that makes nice pictures. But again, this can do everything that this can do in a smaller form factor and everything. And I almost would want to buy but I don't know, does it make sense to buy double everything? But that is something that I could also buy second one. There is one problem which I can mention in the end. So, relatively nice lens, but again something that I have which I don't really use and which I don't really need, and I should sell this. Then my second lens which has working autofocus, and I don't really remember, this is, let's say, as big as my whole camera. Nikon 180mm macro. I have made one trip let's say, photograph video having this, and it's heavy. It's heavy and big, but it has working autofocus. And I don't now remember that did I buy it as that the autofocus was working or not, because it was relatively cheap. So this is some older model. I really don't now remember what was the fault, why the price was. But I'm sure that I didn't pay $200 of this. It was maybe a little bit more than $100. But it makes very nice pictures. It made probably both of these made the best macro photos in today's experiment. But this is double focal length, so the camera can be even farther away from the subject. So if making some insect photos would be much better. It has autofocus, so could be even used for some moving objects. And this with some kind of extender that can fit it, that would be of course it would make the minimum aperture quite big, but that would be at least if you want to take pictures of some moving objects, but would need to be in a quite good lighting that you can get sharp objects. By the way, this has some kind of image stabilization. So that's one positive. Only lens I have which have that, and that probably works also for manual usage. But if I would say that this most likely, or these two makes the best image quality. But this is, let's say, way too big, and it even has this tripod mount. But for some special purpose, very nice. So, where is that control? It's somewhere. Maybe it's this SP. Manual focus. And it's full. So, yes, the stabilization. Maybe I need to try, if there is bad lighting, maybe I need to try with this one. So what is the problem with this lens that I have been now praising all the time? There is one fundamental problem. Wrong side. This focus ring is very stiff. And now it's relatively warm, but when it's winter and minus something, it gets very, very, very stiff. And even in this, you can't even compare. This I can, let's say, turn with one finger, no problem. No way I can do it. So I really need to turn it. Of course, the good thing is that it will make the focus you don't in a sense easy to focus because you are really moving it slowly. Now it's very, let's say, black on black video. But yes, hopefully you did get overview of the lenses I have. Please add a comment if there is something that you want to ask or you want advice or for whatever purpose. At least I have been very, very happy with that one. So, thank you for watching and see you next time.